Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. We are the Mile High Property Brothers. Today is super fun, direct to the point, but we will be talking about not moving here unless you have watched this first.
That's right. You're not going to want to miss this one, guys. Check it out. What's up, guys? I'm Schmidt. This is my partner, Will Grimes. And if it's your first time checking out the channel, welcome. And while you're here, you're going to want to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell because we drop a new one of these every Tuesday and Thursday, and you don't want to miss a single one.
100%. And we are licensed brokers here in the state of Colorado, which means just as much as we love making these videos, we would love more to help you with those real estate needs. So that number that is popping up below, we are the guys who answer the phone calls, text messages, and those emails. Right. So if we can help you, we would love to. But with that being said, let's try to help you out by having you watch this first and go over everything that you must know before moving to Denver, or some things that might make you not want to move to Denver. And true to our last video with all of the pros as far as like benefits of living here and what you have to look forward to, let's also cover some things that, hey, you know what, maybe Denver Metro or Colorado's just not for you. Not necessarily a negative thing, but some of these might, just shed some light for you personally. So not negative, not positive, but just really just trying to be as accurate as possible. This might help you realize this is not the place for you.
All right, now first off, let's talk, man, some of the most fundamental pieces of living here. That is our altitude, okay?
Correct.
That is something you will immediately have to deal with as soon as you land or drive into the state.
Right, and anytime you guys get acclimated to a different environment, whether it's heat, cold, altitude, less altitude, whatever it may be, it typically takes about a month to get acclimated and used to your environments. However, something that's just a constant is that, hey, when you're this high up, when you're mile high, right, like you're just getting less oxygen. So your body's working harder to breathe, work out, everything, right? Now, doesn't mean you can't survive here. Clearly, people live here. However, it is something to think about. And hey, not a doctor, but there are some folks that we've met before where just depending on their certain medical condition, the high altitude and less oxygen into their lungs mixed with some temperatures were just not the best fit for them, right? So not speaking for you, not saying that that is. There's a lot of training benefits to having your body work harder to absorb the oxygen that it can get. This is why the Olympic training center is here. This is why a lot of people come up here and train year round in the first place. So there are some benefits to it, but we're talking just living here and whatnot, and like just pleasurability. But altitude, something to think about. Nothing you can't get used to, but something to think about.
Yes, and a minor side note to that is due to the altitude, it is very dry here. So stock up on the lotion, stock up on the chapstick, and drink plenty of water.
Yes, and hey, misnomer a lot of folks have is like they don't drink a lot when it's cold.
Yep.
Right, as far as like water, but believe it or not, a lot of like dehydration comes during cold climates because you're not necessarily thirsty or looking for water when you're freezing, but believe it or not, that's one of the highest times when you can get dehydrated. So if you're going to the mountains and skiing and snowboarding or having fun or working out, whatever it may be, believe it or not, like being hydrated is nothing you really appreciate or notice until you're dehydrated and you're having the headaches or the fatigue or the other problems that can come with that. But realize that altitude can affect that, so can cold weather. So it's something that you want to stay on top of. I don't know if about you guys, but when it comes to like dry skin or whatever maybe, I get little spots right where my nose connects to my face that just crack. And
That's right.
You can't exactly put chapstick
Lotion
there.
up.
Make sure you have your lotion, whatever you like. But what's nice about like just modern homes and new builds and everything else, or just something that you can have installed in your home if you have an older home here that you decide to purchase, is like the humidifier system.
Whole house humidifier, yeah.
Whole house humidifiers that go right into your HVAC. We've got our sliding wall open right now, so like it's probably like bringing that down. I'll get like a dry air alert by the time we're done filming, but it's really nice to have those in your home because with as much time as you spend at home, having that humidifier set up and running through your ventilation system is amazing and definitely not that expensive, yet a game changer.
All right, now if you are coming from a city or a town that has huge 1 or 2+ acre lots, I know a lot of that is common in the Midwest, you're not gonna find a whole ton of that here. So you don't have these big, massive yards out here, even in the suburban areas. You really have to go either way far out east or find the rare, obscure lot in town that is on an acre.
So you can find some stuff in Southeast Aurora, you can find some stuff in Castle Rock, you can find some stuff in Castle Pines, but that's not the norm, I think is what you're getting at. Like, hey,
definitely not an acre or two.
No, like if you're getting an acre, if you're getting 2 acres, you're definitely gonna be starting to get into like the more million+ homes. Luxury homes are getting built on those.
And even on the outskirts of those towns.
On the outskirts of those towns, correct. Or on top of the mountain. So they are there. We lived in one of them in Castle Rock that had a full acre. So they do have those developments, but it's not the norm. Like you're expecting a CD player in a new car or a touch screen in a new car, how that's just the norm. The norm on lots is not gonna be your full acre, your half acre, but you do have good sized lots for suburbia
compared
to
a
like
third acre. Yeah, it's pretty common. That is one of the biggest things that we hear from people that are moving here. Again, if they're coming from California or New York or something, they're not expecting that at all. They love our
if you're coming from Newport News, Virginia, Yorktown, Virginia, whatever it may be, like with just less population, you do have some price points that are in the 3s or 4s that have a full acre or a couple acres. Like you just don't quite have that here, but I will say the structure and the developments of what you do have in the neighborhoods are really good as far as the size that you talked about, and the recreation you have as far as like the different lake houses and recreation centers.
The parks that are here.
The parks that are here are amazing. So less personal space, a ton of shared space that's big and wide open and very, very rarely crowded.
All right, number 3, we're talking walkability. So specifically speaking for downtown, immediately downtown, right in Lodo, lower downtown is pretty walkable. But for the rest of the state, plan on getting a car, plan on driving.
Especially with like when you guys get into like the mountains and going and visiting and snowboarding, hiking, just going and seeing Aspen, the Rocky Mountain National Park. Like it's a little bit more complex as far as like providing public transportation for all of that. And I would say just getting down into the city, we do have public transportation. You've got buses, you've got the light rail system, but it is by no means sophisticated like you're gonna find a New York or a Washington, D.C. as far as like the underground systems that they have, the above ground systems they have. You're definitely more than likely either driving to a light rail station that then takes you into downtown, or you're just merely driving downtown. Now, the roadways, highways, and byways, all of that are super proficient. There are several different ways in and out of downtown. So very rarely is it ever like stop and go traffic. Typically our rush hour traffic is about 47 miles an hour. So still pretty smooth and light. They've expanded the roads really well here to, I guess, withstand all of our influx, but definitely still a very vehicle-driven metro area and city.
It is. Now, speaking of downtown Denver is the biggest little city you'll ever find. It's just big enough and it's just small enough. So if you're coming here and you're looking for a massive, massive downtown, and maybe you're coming from a Chicago or New York or something, you might be a little surprised at how small our downtown actually is.
Not as much to do downtown. You still have movie theaters, you've got really cool bowling alleys, you've got a lot of good eateries that are down there, but
couple clubs, bars.
Yep, couple different things to do. You've got some sports that are down there, but definitely not like in LA or Chicago or New York, or not even close to like a New York. The majority of like what you're gonna find as far as like just a fun time in Colorado is getting out of the city, into the landscape, into the national parks, into the mom and pop shops, into just different things that you can do. Downtown Denver is just one of many things people come here for versus something like in New York. No disrespect to New York. I feel like it's very city heavy. Now, if you live in Buffalo, whatever maybe, you might be telling me that's wrong. So I appreciate that. I definitely don't live in New York. I guess it's just more of an assumption than anything, but I definitely feel like New York is more recognized for its city life than Denver.
True, and that brings us into our nightlife, or lack thereof. So Denver, Colorado is, and just Colorado as a whole, we are very big on our concerts, we're very big on our music, any outdoor experience we're very big on, but what you won't find a really good scene on, if this is what you're looking for, is a really good kind of nightclub,
This ain't Miami.
Scene. Yeah,
This ain't Miami.
It's not Miami.
Right.
Now, if you go right downtown, there are a few select good clubs that do play good music. I mean, it's less than 10 from my count.
And you'll get some of the raves that come to town.
Yeah, there's great like EDM shows, music shows.
Like how I ask him.
Red Rocks is phenomenal.
Now, Red Rocks is an entire different experience, because whether it's comedy, country music, rock music,
old movies even.
Old movies. They do movies every Thursday during the summer. They do reggae on the rocks. They do
fitness on the rocks. All those things.
Rave, that's there.
Yeah, EDC comes there.
A lot of cool stuff, and like being outside for that, and that the amazing weather and the elements of Red Rocks Amphitheater. That place is just global. People around the world know about Red Rocks. So that's one that's just an anomaly. If you haven't experienced it, definitely have to experience it. But it's also like it's still that thing. It's not like you're coming to Denver to live here to just always go do that thing. So when it comes to like the vast amount of different things you could do, nightlife wise, definitely not Miami. There's not 100,000 clubs that you're gonna be going to or whatever it may be.
No. Now, going forward, let's talk about the Denver attitude, okay? Now, if this is not you.
Or lack thereof.
Or lack thereof, yeah. The Denver has chill vibes, okay? We talked about this in our last video. If you're coming from a place where, you aren't used to people holding the doors from you, people have excessive road rage, people are just always in that me mentality, I need to get where I'm going, no one else matters.
Or this whole thing, I'm just real.
Yeah,
I just got
that
people
thing.
have a little bit of etiquette out here. Like, it's not that we don't appreciate people being real and they just like tell a stranger their opinion of that person within 3 seconds of standing on the light rail. Like, you're just not having this. Like, or another example is this.
Nothing for you.
Or that, you're not gonna get that here. We don't have, now it's not that there's not a lot of cool things about coming from thick-skinned, brutally honest, opinionated, rough around the edges like culture. It's just not here, right? So I don't wanna take a vote as far as like what's good, what's bad, whatever it may be. People just tend to work hard, play hard here, have a great time, and like you just don't see a lot of opinionated, I must be on a mission to then like serve that everywhere. People tend to be pretty chill, and if you have some of that, like maybe naturally it just tones down a little bit because people aren't so that way to you. I don't know. Either way, like I don't want to elaborate too much for the sake of not being rude to anybody, but it's just chill.
Well, and it is something that we hear from our clients quite a bit about how easy it is to make friends in their neighborhood, how little road rage that there is out here that they experience based on where they came from. People holding the door, saying please and thank you when you're at restaurants, all of that stuff we hear from our clients, and it definitely seems to be a recurring theme in Denver. So if that is not your vibe, Denver might not be for you.
I don't know the response you're gonna get. If like, hey, aren't you putting mustard on your hot dog? I don't know. Like, I don't know if someone's gonna respond. And maybe you're right. It needs mustard. Maybe you're right. You're not eating that right. If it doesn't have mustard, like shame on you. And like maybe if that person did put mustard, it would change their entire life. You could be 1,000% right. However, I don't know if they're gonna respond to you. They'd probably be more wondering why you're taking it upon yourself to initiate communication about someone else's meal.
All right, now moving forward, just because this is usually one of the #1 reasons almost all of our clients are moving here, that's the outdoors. If you don't enjoy the outdoors, man, Colorado's still a great place to live, but you sure are missing out on a lot of it.
And we get a real winter here. So even though we talk about having more sunny days than anywhere in the universe here, right? Like, or most accurately, any state in the country, right? We'll shrink it down a little bit.
There you go.
We still have more than enough snow here when it's not sunshine days of like, it's a real winter, right? So you're gonna need all-wheel drive vehicle if you're driving a lot. If you wanna be outside year round, like you're gonna have days where even if it's sunny, it's still cold. And you've got snow on the ground. So if that's not for you and you don't wanna navigate any type of winter, and people have been telling you, they're like, oh no, Colorado doesn't have a winter. They got more sunny days than Florida or anyone else. That's not even that. Don't be mistaken. It is a full winter and you have it and you're shoveling and you're cold and whatever it may be. And some things that you wanna go do that are fun, like if you're looking at zoo lights or going out for New Year's and watching the fireworks downtown, it's cold. And it most likely would have snowed as well, which means you're in those elements. So if you are a person that's like, you haven't quite figured it out, but you know for sure you do not want to navigate a winter, don't let people fool you about more sunny days in Florida. As far as Colorado, we get plenty of snow. This is a winter. You will not like it if you're trying to dodge that.
That's right. Now, our last point is that the city is growing. Denver, in our opinion, is still in its infancy. Maybe it's a toddler right now from what ultimately we think it's gonna be. We've been saying it for 5 years now that we think Denver is kind of like a SoCal in the early 90s.
But it knows what it wants. Like Denver, it might be a toddler, but it knows what it wants. That's Denver. If Denver were a toddler, that's Denver right now as far as like the direction that it's going, the progress that it's having, the economics and where everything is going. Like Denver has made up its mind as far as like making that overall growth. Like you say, it's a toddler phase because there's still so much unincorporated around the Denver metro that could still be built on, that still allows you some space to be spread out and have a certain type of lifestyle. However, the direction of where it's going is forward, is within growth in that way economically. And for a lot of us, we appreciate where that's going because of how Colorado is doing that, but still keeping Colorado's-esque the same, still protecting national parks, still protecting city and state parks, and having an entire Colorado feel, regardless of how far that it grows, right? Some people don't appreciate that it grows. I feel the etiquette in which Colorado is growing is very appreciated. Whether you like it or you don't like it, it's just what matters on this video is that you know that that's where it's going. So if that's something that you're not looking for, then hey, Nebraska, or, you know?
Yeah. And guys, I think another important factor to that, just to reiterate a little bit of what he said, but Colorado has been very much on the forefront of building our infrastructure based on future indications of how many people might be moving here. Like I-70 right now, which is our primary east-west highway. It takes you all the way out of the mountains, takes you all the way through downtown. That's undergoing massive renovations right now because, you know, the state knows that Denver is growing.
Well, what they're doing with the I-70 expansion and the parks that are going over it, the soccer fields, the landscape.
They're building parks over the highway on the overpass.
It's so cool. It's so cool. So again, like if there was a way to grow and still appreciate feeling like you got the Colorado vibe, and I'm a native of Colorado, I've been here for a long time. Like we feel it, we see it from a bird's eye view with all of our clients that are moving here, whatever it may be. But the way they're going about it, it just still feels like we're holding the integrity and the feel of why people are here in the first place, but yet allowing more infrastructure for more people to be here in the first place. Right? And hey, one more point, as we always have, is that number popping back up below, reminding you that yes, we are licensed brokers here in the state of Colorado, and yes, just as much as we love making these videos, we will love more to help you with those real estate needs. So that number that's popping back up below, we are the guys trying to the phone calls, text messages, and those emails. So it's something we can do for you, and if Denver is still for you, and this video did not convince you of such, and you still want to come here, we would love to help you with that. That's right. But until next video, you guys enjoy your weekend and anything else you have going on, and we will see you guys very soon.
See you guys.